Film theory, will the FNAF movie 2 movie finally fix the doll? What's up everyone, Kaden Bulldogs with another video. Tonight we are gonna be doing another brand new film theory video. This one will be film theory, will the FNAF 2 movie finally fix the doll? Let's see and find out what this will be about. Like, comment, subscribe to us video on this track to next, and now let's see and find out what this will be about. Let's go.
We finally have some answers. The last Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer just dropped ahead of the movie's release in December, and let me tell you, this one actually gives us some closure on questions the fan base has had
Well, that's good.
for years. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's creeping through an abandoned pizzeria in the dead of night. I really hope I don't get jump scared by the subscribe button. Ah, jeez!
Okay.
Come on, man! I punched you right in the face. So at this point, you know what Five Nights at Freddy's is. We're almost in the double digits of videos about it here on Film Theory, let alone the dozens and dozens over at our sister location Game Theory. The first movie was a huge hit, and the sequel, coming this December, looks like it's continuing the trend and adapting some of the best parts of the Five Nights franchise while also bringing in a lot of new ideas for the series. Honestly, I'm kind of excited about that. Like, if you're gonna be making an adaptation of something in a different medium, use the unique ways of storytelling in that medium to add ideas while keeping to the spirit of that original IP. Anyway, because the new movie is coming out really soon, December 5th, one final trailer released 1 month ahead of that, in the middle of a Wednesday while I was working on something else. The script for the 10th anniversary video on Film Theory, actually. Man, FNAF, it's making me delay that until January, just... How on brand for Theorist is that? Apparently, this trailer was leaked, in that an unlisted copy was uploaded and sleuthy fans found it before they were supposed to. I have to wonder if that forced their hand or if they always meant for this to come out on the 5th, but who knows at this point. So, of course, I had to drop what I was doing to try to break down this trailer, since we've done it for every other one in this franchise. It's kind of like an ongoing series for us here on Film Theory. Anyway, loyal theorists, this trailer was interesting. Why? Well, I was shocked with just how much they showed here. Like, if you dig into what they show and the meaning of what's on screen, they answered a lot of questions that have lingered in the fan base for years at this point. It makes me really excited for what this film is going to do when it's fully released. But for now, let's break down this trailer to see what secrets are hiding in its animatronic endoskeleton.
Okay.
Shall we? Grab your flashlights, friends, as we're going into this haunted pizzeria. So we start with the shot of Vanessa waking up and Mike asking her about her dreams on their little date night from previous trailers.
So you wanna tell me about your bad dreams?
We then hop to a sequence where we see a young Vanessa running through her house as she's haunted by a vision of her father, William Afton. I speculated earlier that shots like this with Afton in this house were either a dream or a ghost, so I guess that's confirming that we are in a dream. We then see Vanessa hiding in this dream in a closet or under a bed or something. And a little bit later, we see Afton grab a knife in this dream similar to the one that he uses as Spring Bonnie. If they are legitimately trying to give us an origin story for this knife, or why he uses a knife, I'm gonna lose it in theaters. In the present, Vanessa opens a closet in her apartment, or house, or whatever, and pulls out a box clearly full of stuff from her childhood. And guys, we finally know what's in the box. Real talk though, this box looking similar to the mysterious one from the games had to be intentional, or at least a fun nod. I see you, Scott. I see you. Anyway, the next shot is Vanessa putting out a bunch of toys, almost as if she's displaying them. There's some marbles, a small book, what looks like a little mirror, and Garrett's plane. Yeah, you know, Mike's little brother murdered by Afton, the toy plane that he had in the first movie that we know was given to Vanessa. I have to wonder, are these all things from her childhood, or maybe something darker? Like, were these items taken from Afton's victims and given to Vanessa, like the plane was? That would be incredibly creepy and just totally in line with this franchise, man. And I also have to ask, why is she displaying them here? Like, it could be that she's trying to get through things emotionally or confront those bad memories, but maybe she's trying to summon a spirit, like the spirits of these kids, or maybe of her father. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense or if it would work with this story, but it did come to me and I wanted to share that idea. Over all of this, we hear Mike say,
We're never gonna be able to move forward until you deal with some of the mess you left in your head.
This is interesting because it sounds a lot like what Vanessa was dealing with in Help Wanted and that whole era, where Glitch Trap was a sort of... AI
okay.
infecting her brain and all of that jazz. But instead of using the weird new era stuff with AI and making it all confusing, we're just using a lot of the paranormal reasoning from the earlier, simpler, and frankly more popular parts of the franchise as a jumping off point. Again, this is just another example of taking stuff that worked from every era of the Freddy's IP and smushing it into these movies. Next up, we cut to a scene of Mike talking to a man, looking over various pictures and newspaper clippings regarding Afton, a little girl, the pizzeria, and the murders. And let me tell you, when I saw this scene, I got super excited because clearly this guy is supposed to be Henry Emily, Afton's business partner from the game franchise and father of Charlie Emily, the girl that possesses the puppet in the games who we believe will do the same here in the movies. There are plenty of reasons that this guy is Henry. Like, first off, he has a picture of a girl we've identified as Charlie in his notes, and it looks like the sort of school photo or professional portrait that you'd only really expect a parent to have of their child. And it's accompanied with a little note that reads, "Daddy, I am really sorry you missed my birthday, but I really love my present." Again, that's the sort of thing a parent would have from their kid and keep in a scrapbook like this.
Freddy Fazbear Crunchman,
Goodbye.
only at Popeyes, before he gets you. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
The meta reason I am positive that this guy is Henry Emily, well, it's because he's being played by the actor Skeet Ulrich. If you don't know, Ulrich is an actor with a lot of history in weird, supernatural, or adjacent film and television. He had a main role in Riverdale for years, he was a jerky jock in The Craft, and most importantly for us, he was also the boyfriend character Billy in Scream. That's
Okay, nice.
significant for a couple of reasons. Mostly that Billy turned out to be the Ghostface killer in Scream, and that he wasn't
Alexa,
working alone.
what time
Billy
is it?
committed those crimes with his best
Right now, it's 9:50
friend
p.m.
Stu, played by
Okay,
none other
talk to you
than
later.
Matthew Lillard. They were friends and partners in crime in that movie,
Catch you
and
later,
given how much of a
ATL.
face Lillard
Have a
has
great
become
rest
for
of your
Afton in the FNAF series, I absolutely see the studio and filmmakers getting Ulrich for the part of Henry Emily, Afton's business partner, as a nod to Scream and a bit of stunt casting that horror fans would love. And to be clear, this is not me saying that Henry in the film is like a co-conspirator in all of Afton's murders or anything like that, only that they were partners in making the animatronics. Now, talking about this actual moment in the trailer, there are lots of small details I wanted to mention and break down because they're eyebrow-raising at the very least. First of all, the shirt Charlie is wearing in this photo has black and white stripes, once again driving home the puppet aesthetic. And secondly, her note talks about a present, which again is a nod to the puppet. The puppet animatronic comes out of a present, and the night she went missing in the games, it was because she was locked out of a birthday party. Like, really, they're just hitting the nail on the head over and over again that Charlie is going to be the puppet, and it's very on brand. Next, the note also says, "I miss our park," before getting cut off because it's folded over. This is a bit weird. At first I thought it might be referencing FNAF 1, where Garrett went missing in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe it was a pattern for Afton.
Okay.
That he took kids in parks, but that falls apart for a couple of reasons I'll get to shortly. So perhaps this park is a reference to the theme park of the Fall Fest that we see later in the trailer. It's just a thought anyway. We also get a little news article here about William Afton's early ambitions. This is more or less a puff piece, but it does talk about how Afton was a genius with animatronics and continued experimenting with new ways of making them. This is definitely pointing towards his work with Remnant and trapping souls in the animatronics. It's also strange that Henry is not as big of a focus here because we thought Afton was the business guy in their partnership and Henry was more the animatronic guy. But this is letting us know that, sure, maybe Henry knew his way around animatronics, but Afton was also an animatronic guy. But okay, all of that is neat or whatever, but the big thing we learn here, and the thing that made me and Tom light up like animatronic Christmas trees, this line right here.
It wasn't until years later when those 5 children went missing that I knew she was murdered.
So this might just seem like a normal trailer line, but this is actually
I'm gonna Google this question. I don't know which one to get. Not really. One's rather than one.
huge. Why? Well, it confirms that Charlie died first before the other murdered kids. This was something we were pretty sure about for a while thanks to the books. Like, Charlie died in 1983, and thanks to the Silver Eyes trilogy and Into the Pit, we knew that the other kids died in 1985. But Then Help Wanted 2 came out and threw all of that into question. In that game, there are a set of gravestones you need to interact with for one of the endings, and if you light the graves in a certain order, you get a collectible. And to do that, the puppet's grave was the one you lit last, implying that she died last, and throwing everything we knew into question. So this right here is absolutely an example of Scott using these movies to set the record straight, and man, I'm so here for it. After all of us here at Theorist and in the FNAF theorizing community struggled for so long to get straight answers, it's so satisfying to finally have some. Next, we then cut to Charlie, tears running down her face, screaming as she holds a boy in her arms. We're definitely in the pizzeria back when it was at its peak here, given that we see a birthday party sort of situation going on. This whole sequence seems to be a continuation of another shot from an earlier trailer where we see this same boy in the pizzeria as Afton in the Spring Bonnie outfit peeks through a door to look at him. So, a couple of thoughts here. Like, did Charlie just witness this kid almost get murdered and that's why she's crying? Or maybe, giant swing here, but are they both already dead? Yeah, probably not. Everyone is looking at her when she screams, but it would be a cool Sixth Sense type of reveal if when she puts the kid down we see like a stab wound or something. But more importantly than that, I'm pretty sure that this is right before Charlie is killed. Earlier in the trailer, Henry says this.
Everyone called it an accident.
Everyone called it an accident. And here we see Charlie standing on a little platform. If I were to guess, this is where the puppet would come out during performances. Oh, and also, again, they're emphasizing the stripes on her sleeves here. Love how consistent that is. So putting the pieces together here, this platform is likely a trap door, and she's about to fall through and into the machinery of the puppet animatronic. Something everyone would think was an accident. Notice how the other kid is suspiciously not on this platform when it focuses on Charlie's feet. It's about to open up and have Charlie fall to her death. Oh, and bonus points, that would make things way less confusing than it was in the game. Since that had the puppet like find Charlie outside, it was very strange. And it follows the film's running mission statement of taking the recognizable parts of FNAF and simplifying them for the mainstream. We then get a lot of shots that just feel like classic horror movie fare that don't really add anything to our breakdown of the movie. We see a kid at Abby's school asking if she's ever going to go back to Freddy Fazbear's, and then cut to her going back there. The animatronics wake up, and we see Mike and Vanessa in the pizzeria reacting to Balloon Boy's laugh coming from somewhere in its depths. Oh, and we also hear someone say,
Where are you gonna run to?
That's a line repeated from an earlier trailer. Back then I wasn't 100% sure who was saying this, but now it definitely sounds like it's from Afton. Oh, and also I have to point out, we can clearly see the carousel here in this shot with the 4 animals that you would expect. Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, and Chica. None of the extra animals mentioned on the potentially real script pages that Scott released during the 10th anniversary event. And man, at this point, it feels like Scott is just toying with me. Why are you doing this to me, man? Is checking the carousel for animals gonna be my version of counting animatronic tones? We then see the toy animatronics out and about like they've been really hammering home in the marketing for this movie. They even have a line saying,
Half of this town will be dead by morning.
letting us know just how much the stakes have been raised here. We see Freddy at the Fall Fest Fair thing, Matthew Patrick raising a knife sharpener from a knife block about to stab a woman, Megan Fox chasing the guy from Jurassic Park inside of a school supply room, and Balloon Boy creeping on a Freddy security guard who should be played by Markiplier. Come on, Mark, I know you're busy. Congrats on the wedding, by the way, but the fans really want to see you in these movies. And the last thing of note here, but we see the withered animatronics wake up and various jump scare shots of them, including Mangle attacking a car with Vanessa inside. In a previous trailer, we see them attacking the van with the paranormal investigators, so it looks like attacking vehicles will be their MO here in this movie. Or at the very least, he does it twice. Huh, weird. I just found 2 nickels. Something else I wanted to point out, though, is that none of the withered animatronics we see here in the movie have red eyes, though basically all of the toy animatronics have them at one point or another. To me, this pretty much confirms that the toy animatronics have a sort of child protection software that we mentioned in previous theories, and the withered animatronics don't. Those red eyes represent the software coming online and having them kill random people. This does make me wonder, though, if the toys are just robots that seem to be corrupted, perhaps the withered are connected with the spirits from the first movie, or new spirits entirely? It's just a thought. Now, those are the broad strokes of the trailer, and most of our learnings from it. But, of course, it's a FNAF trailer, and there's deeper meanings to be found here. And probably the most important thing that I picked up from this trailer was that it really seems like this movie is going to be answering a lot of questions that the series has asked for a long time. When young Vanessa is having this scary dream about her dad in the trailer, we see a bunch of images of a workshop. There's a bunch of animatronic equipment, as well as like medical tools you might find in a doctor's office or hospital or whatever. Now, there's a lot of dust on this medical equipment, so if you ask me, this actually isn't connected to the dream at all. This is something I think the characters are going to find in the present day, and it just like matched the tone for the rest of the trailer, so, you know, they pulled trailer trickery and shoved that together. But that's neither here nor there. No, the big thing I wanted to focus on here was this. We see designs for a Freddy Fazbear animatronic on some old paper. Of course, you know us. When something like this pops up on screen, I absolutely had to pour over to see if there was any new information we could glean from it. And oh boy, don't you know that there was. You see up here where it says that this is Freddy 3.0? That it's a new design? Well, that's significant because if you compare this against all the other Freddy animatronics we see in the film series, this lines up most with the Freddy Fazbear from the first movie. The main Freddy, the classic Freddy, not the withered or the toy Freddy designs. You can really tell if you compare the jaw designs for the blueprint, classic Freddy, toy Freddy, and withered Freddy. This is definitely referring to the original Freddy from the first movie.
Okay.
And that's significant because, well, for a long time we weren't sure if the withered animatronics and the classic animatronics were the same animatronics or not. And that created a lot of confusion and ambiguity in the timeline and the story. This right here is saying very clearly on paper that they are different. Most likely that the toy and withered animatronics came first and that the classic animatronics came later. And that's just from this one shot from one of these teasers. Who knows what answers the full movie's gonna give us? This might seem like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Like, this isn't really that big a deal, right? But this is really emblematic of not only this movie series as a whole, but honestly, where the entire FNAF franchise is right now. Here, check this. Looking at the writing credits of a lot of the major FNAF projects over the last few years, you'll notice a little bit of a trend. For Security Breach, Scott wasn't really credited as a writer, and that's probably why the story was a bit frustrating both for us and for Scott. After that, neither the DLC for Ruin or Help Wanted 2 had credited writers, but the first movie had Scott, Seth Cuddyback, and Emma Tammy, the director of the movie, all as writers. And in more recent projects, well, Scott was the main writer along with Steel Wool co-founder Jason Topolsky on Secret of the Mimic. And Scott is the only writer on this new FNAF 2 movie. And what that tells me is that Scott is trying to take the story of FNAF back. He's trying to claw back control over this franchise and this narrative to make it the way he wants it to be. To go back and tell these stories in a way that's more crystal clear and planned out, because he was kind of flying by the seat of his pants when this series originally came out. And with these movies, he's taking that opportunity to make it crystal clear, all while giving us more than a little bit of fan service along the way. Like, for real, did you see Toy Chica? What are we doing here, man? But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Up next on Film Theory, the new trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 proved one of our old theories wrong.
Okay. If you like the reaction, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to us for the one that's to act next. This will be the end of the reaction. And also hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever we upload person go live. Followed by that subscribe button. Okay. Until next time, they done Bulldogs and we are out.